Hello again. We've been talking about Wight work, the blessings of the Wights in runic magic. And last time we were talking about the names of some of the Wights. You could call upon some of the dwarfs, the elves, the Valkyries, etc. But what if there isn't a name of a Wight in the existing Norse literature, the Eddas, the Sagas? What if there isn't one there whose attributes, either their behaviour in a particular tale or the meaning of their name, simply doesn't fit with your goal, with your magical purpose, with the blessing that you want to call? What do you do then? The answer is quite simple. You call upon one whose name does describe the qualities you're looking for. And in order to do that, you'll have to make up the name. You will have to make up the name which describes the entity you want to call. Now, this shouldn't come as any kind of shock or surprise, because that's precisely how names of this sort would be allocated. People would be given a name which would describe some of their traits in addition to their given name. Now, you're obviously not knowing the true name of an entity doing this, but you're using a title by which they can be called. And if you produce a title which describes certain traits and direct them towards a certain class of entity, such as dwarfs or Valkyries, one which fits those traits will answer and will take upon themselves that name for their communication with you. So how do you choose a name? It has to fulfill two qualities. Firstly, it has to describe what you're looking for, and it has to do it in a name, in a way which suggests a name. But secondly, you can't just pick any old words for that description. You have to pick words which are short, concise, and which, when transliterated into runes, use the right runes. Runes which also, when taken together as a phrase, as a name, express the meaning and the purpose that you are looking for. For example, if you were calling upon an entity to bring peace to a situation, you would not call upon something whose name was filled with a th sound, calling Thurisaz, for instance. The best way to go through this in detail is to give you a concrete example. This is one which I did last year, and at the time I was looking for a venue to perform in. Some of you will know that as well as being a rune magician, I'm also a performer magician, a stage magician. And I was looking for a venue which would be central, suitable and cost effective for me to stage my shows in. And I'd been having not much success, so I thought the thing to do was to call upon a Wight and ask for this as a blessing in return for the blessing given. The name I came up with was Gig Winner, because I was trying to find an entity which would win me some gigs. I decided on that name because it's short, it expresses exactly what I want, and also the combination of runes, which we'll look at in a moment, are perfect. I thought the best type of entity would be one of the Leosalfa, the light elves, because the qualities I was looking for were primarily the charisma to be able to negotiate a deal with a venue, and the charisma to then be able to draw an audience in, to entertain them when they were there, and so to get a good run of shows going. And these qualities seem to me to be something within the light elves. So Gig Winner, a light elf. The name is comprised of the runes Gabo, Isa, Gabo, Wunyo, Isa, Naudis, Ewas, Raido. 2 Gabo runes, meaning an exchange. This is the exchange between me and the venue. The agreement we come to was the cost of me hiring the venue. It's also the exchange between me and the audience. The entertainment I provide them in exchange for the payment they give me. But more than that, it's the rapport which is built. That sense of closeness, of enjoyment, which an entertainment event brings, and which will keep bringing them back. And that is also covered by the use of the Wunyo rune. Isa is there to focus things. Now this is there to express the need I have for this venue. Ewas again expresses the sense of fellowship between me and the venue, me and the audience. And Raido is the simple truth that I will have to go out and arrange these things. I will have to take action. So how do we go about it from there? A blessing to the Wights generally includes a brief reading from the Eddas or a saga, something which roots the work back in the very heart of the tradition. In this case, I read from Havamal 4. He needs water, the one who has just arrived, dry clothes and a warm welcome from a friendly host, and if he can get it, a chance to listen and be listened to. And this to me seemed to express again that concept of the exchange between me, the venue and the audience. The first statement of intent given was, the light elf Gig Winner has charisma and charm. His is the tongue to win all men to his side. The boons which are requested shall be granted. His eloquence pleases the ear and wins rich gifts in return. And then finally, there was the wording I gave to the call itself. Persuader of men, Gig Winner, you are a shining beacon, whose pleasing aspect and eloquent speech draw all to you in wonder and joy, gathering men in fellowship and happiness. Grant me your gift of golden tongue, so that I too may win a place to stand and speak my wonders, to the enrichment of my hearers' imaginations and my own purse through their gifts in return. And you would then carry forward the rite as normal, with the loading of the runes of the name into the ale which was to be drunk and offered in blessing. So that is how to discover your own wights. It's not a quick process, it's something you will have to think upon and bring all of your knowledge of the mythology, of the runes, and of your sense of the being you are trying to reach out to and to communicate with. All these things will need to be combined and brought to bear. But I hope that shows you how you can pull these things together and produce a rite which will really suit your requirements. And I think for now that will do for this subject. If you have any questions, of course, let me have them and we can expand further. But I'll come back again in the near future with another little series of talks along the same lines on the subject of runes, because I know there are quite a few questions that I've been asked recently and it will be good to expand upon them. Until then, take care and I'll speak to you all again very soon, I hope. Bye for now.